Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chai with Us podcast. This is episode number 64. I am Erica, the personal developer. You can also find me at Emotional Freedom.
Hello, and I'm Ivana from Okolo Isabel.
Yes, okay. So today we are going to talk about my Bible. I'm joking. We're going to talk about The Power of Now, which is a book that we absolutely love.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is going to be more of a what do we think of it and our ideas on the concept than a kind of like a serious review, because I don't think
Yeah,
I can focus like that, because there are so many messages,
yes.
and I think we are not going to be able to get to all the messages from this book,
Mm-hmm.
but we are going to do our best to give our opinion on the book and also the most important things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Ivana, okay. So, what's your relationship with this book? Tell me about it.
I love this book. I think it was like one of the first spiritual books I read, and it was just so mind-opening to be like, wow, I'm not this pain body. I'm the observer. I'm the watcher. And to even think about like, wow, there's like two of us. Does that make any sense? And then he talked about how like your whole need, the whole reason behind this book is the power of now, to be present in the now because that's all you have. I never thought about it that way because I spent so much of my life living in the past or in the future. So
Mm-hmm.
there's like some chapters, and we'll get to it, where I felt like he was personally attacking me when he kept on saying but he kept on saying like you're the waiter, like you're waiting for something to happen. I felt like I was living my life that way in so many moments of my life.
Right.
So there's definitely times that this book I felt personally attacked.
Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me? My God. Okay, so this book, I think, is the reason why I got so into personal growth.
Mhm.
This book is also the reason why I didn't got too much into personal growth,
Okay.
because this book made me say, because I got this book in a moment where I was like raw, I was looking for a lot of information. I was
Mhm.
changing my life completely, and I was so focused on, listen, in the future everything is going to be better, everything,
Mhm.
and I was, as I said before, I'm very driven, and I was like future, 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 because I really needed desperately to change the situation I was living in, but something
Mhm.
was lacking. So,
Yeah.
and it was lacking the power of now. And I was reading this book again, and I'm like, this is the way I want to live. I don't live like this all the
Mhm.
time.
Mhm.
Obviously, I'm human. Not everybody can be Eckhart Tolle, but but this is like how I live my life, and it's crazy how so many things of the book I use and I try to live up to,
Mhm.
that I didn't even remember that I got from the book.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so many other things that now, with a different mindset, I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, wow, okay, okay. And the waiter was one of the things, like,
Yeah.
to put a name on it.
Mhm.
Okay, people. So I think we need to focus here. Oh my God, I'm all over the place because I'm just so in love with this book, and there's so many things. But the waiter is basically a concept of a person that lives their life waiting for something,
Yes.
not like waiting for a message or
Mhm.
waiting for something to arrive in the mail. Is somebody that is waiting for, when your kids go to college, then you are going to be happy. When you have your
Mhm.
holidays, your vacation, then you are going to be happy. When you finish
Mhm.
this training, you are going to be happy. And
Yes.
it's like, and with this book, I got to realize that if I'm not happy now, it does not matter what I have in the future.
Mhm.
I'm going to still be miserable, because
Yes.
I am going to still be me. And
Yeah.
that got me into my personal growth, my healing, because I wanted so many things, but most of all, I wanted to be okay when I got these things, because then what's the purpose of even wanting
Mhm.
things?
Yeah. I agree completely with you because I used to be a waiter, so I know all about that.
And I am a waiter sometimes. I am a waiter sometimes. I have very clear goals in life.
Yeah.
And I am a waiter sometimes. But as Eckhart Tolle says in the book, if you are noticing, you are already present.
Mm-hmm.
So this
Yeah.
gives me a little bit of hope. Like, it's not like we're doing everything wrong. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like we're human. And then sometimes we navigate towards, we get out of track, but then you're noticing it and you are back. And then you
Mm-hmm.
get to do something. So, oh my
Yeah.
God, where to start?
Well, I love the very first example that he gives at the beginning of the book. Remember when he talks about a beggar sitting on a box that he never looked inside, and then a
Yes.
stranger comes up to him and says, "Look inside," and inside the box that he's been sitting on all this time was a box of gold.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's all about like look inside yourself, like your radiant joy of being in a place that is one with itself. And so
Mm-hmm.
like, but no one ever tells us to look inside ourselves because we're always focused like outside of ourselves. Like we think that
Yeah,
we're going to get peace and harmony and everything from outside of ourselves, and that's not true at all. It's all within us. So I love that analogy that he gives at the very beginning of the book. I think it's a really good one.
it is. It is beautiful, and I love that Eckhart Tolle started his journey where he was at this desperate moment
Yes.
where he was. The discovery was, I cannot live with myself
Yeah.
anymore, and he was even suicidal, and he
Yes.
talks
Mhm.
about this in the book. And the
Mhm.
thing is, he was like, I cannot live with myself anymore. And then he was like, oh my God, but like, if I cannot live with myself,
Mhm.
who am I?
Yeah.
And you spoke about this at the beginning of our conversation, where you were like, can we be two different people?
Mhm.
And it's a very confusing concept. It may be a very confusing concept, but if you really think about it, yes, it can be.
Yeah.
We can be two people, three people. um, I believe that we have many voices in our head,
Mhm.
right? So there is the real us, the being as Eckhart Tolle describes it, and
Mhm.
then there's also the ego, annoying voice always in your head. And I
Yes.
even believe that we have like a third voice, which is a voice that comes from other people.
Mhm.
For example, sometimes I have one attitude, or I'm thinking certain things and I'm like, this is my mom.
Mhm. Yeah.
This is not even me. It's just something that my mom used to tell me, and that I
Mhm.
have this here. And it's just like, this voice is not even mine. And it is beautiful and very important for us to kind of make the distinction between the voices,
Yes.
because sometimes it's not even us. And it is true. And I like that he makes the distinction between, the mind, that not everything is
Yes.
mind. You don't need to understand and
Mhm.
rationalize everything in your life with your mind.
Yeah.
You can understand things with your being. I'm sure that you yourself, Ivana, like with meditation and
Mhm.
yoga, or when you are dancing, you perceive some things that sometimes it's even hard to explain, because not
Mhm.
everything is mind, right?
Right, because sometimes you can't understand with the mind, you have to feel it. And that's what I love about meditation because it's a feeling as opposed to an
Yeah.
understanding of the mind.
Yeah.
And you're right. He says it's like it's a delusion to believe that you are your mind. You're not your mind. And that was so mind blowing, the pun, when I first read that. You know what I mean? Because
Yes.
no one had ever said that before or that I'd come across.
Yeah. And I think it may be a little bit shocking. Like, what do you mean you're not in your mind? What's happening? But I like to think that, for example, you are not your heart, right?
Hmm.
That's not that difficult to understand. You have a heart, it pumps, it's right. And like, your brain is another thing that you have. Your mind is another thing that you have. But it's
Hmm.
it's a tool that sometimes we let it use us,
Yes.
right? Like, your mind is made to protect you, to defend you, and he talks about this in the book. And not every time you need to be protected and defended. Sometimes you
Mm-hmm.
just need to relax. And that's when you have to tell your mind, you know what? Let's relax. And yeah, it's sometimes it's hard to be like, what do you mean? I'm not your mind. I'm not my
Mm-hmm.
mind. Like, I think it's sometimes it's hard because we get attached.
Yeah.
And
What did you think about when he said that the mind includes your emotions, and he said the thought will be the lie and the emotion will be the truth?
yes,
Do you agree with that?
I agree with that because
Yeah.
whatever you're feeling is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Like if
Yes.
you if you think, oh my God, tomorrow, like it's always the thought that is going to create the emotion, right? You
Mm-hmm.
are not going to feel, because I mean I believe in energy fields and stuff, and you can feel other things around you,
Yeah.
but it's not the feeling, that the first thing that comes. It's not like, oh my God, I'm anxious. It's not that feeling. It's the
Yeah.
thing that you have inside that feeling. Is
Mm-hmm.
the thing that you, okay, what am I really feeling?
Mm-hmm.
It's not the surface thing. I think, because the surface thing, well, you are just acting out whatever
Mm-hmm.
you are thinking at the moment. But if you go deep, most of the times I'm like, I'm so worried, I don't know what to do, and I'm anxious because of one event or whatever. And then I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, what are you really feeling? And
Mm-hmm.
I stop and I connect with myself, and I'm just like, well, I feel excited. Well, there's kind of a fear of abandonment here, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not as the mind puts it. The
Yeah.
problem is when we are attached to whatever the mind tells,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we are very selective to the thoughts that we attach to,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Sometimes you think like, oh my God, I wish I could kill my boss. Do you kill your boss? You don't kill your boss, and you're like, oh my God, I am such a killer. That never happens, right?
No.
You don't go like, oh my God, I'm a killer because I want to kill my boss. But with certain thoughts, like, you're a loser. Oh my God, I'm such a loser. Like, it's just a thought. It's the same
Yeah.
as I want to kill my boss. It's the
Mm-hmm.
same. But the thing is that we put meaning to it and we attach to it. And that's
Mm-hmm.
that's when the problem comes. It's when you
Yeah.
attach to your thoughts in a way that your thoughts are like your identity. And your
Mm-hmm.
identity is way more than your thoughts, right? Your thoughts are
Mm-hmm.
just a part of it. You have your thoughts, you have your personality, you have your body, you have your soul. I mean, there's
Mm-hmm.
so much to what we are, right?
Yeah. He also says that the mind to remain in control seeks to cover up the present by the past and the future. And I think that's so true because the mind, like, it wants to be in control. It doesn't like not being in control. And
Yes.
so it's like whenever we are like in silence or have a moment of peace, I feel like all these thoughts are coming and bombarding you, and you're thinking of like either the past or the present or the future. Do you
Yeah.
find yourself thinking of one more than the other? Like, are you thinking more about the future than the past, or the past?
Yeah. Last episode, I told you I think I'm the future person.
Okay.
I think I'm the future person. I'm
Mhm.
like thinking about what's going to happen, like in a
Mhm.
good way and also in a bad way, like
Yeah.
worst case scenario. I think I'm done with the past. It's this
Okay.
weird thing, but fortunately, I'm done with the past. And
Mhm.
I think about the past just to, don't make the same mistakes. Sometimes I do think of the past and I'm like dwelling on it.
Mhm.
But what happens to me the most is just be like, okay, what's next? Okay, oh, tomorrow I have to do this. And or
Yeah.
I'm here with you and I'm like, oh my God, I have to go and change that t-shirt that I did. You know what I mean? I'm more
Mhm. Mhm.
of a future person, which is
Okay.
which is not a good thing at all. Like it's the same as being in the past.
I don't think
You're not
it's,
here.
yeah, I think it's either. It's
Yeah,
not a good thing to be either, I think, because I'm
yeah,
more oriented towards the past. And so, like, I'm always thinking of the past as opposed to the present.
yeah. And probably it also depends on what part of your life are you right now. If you loved your past more, if you were in a situation that pleased you more before, you're probably going to think more about the past, I think.
Yeah.
And if you are like in a comfortable situation, you're good, you're like, what's next? What? Yes. Right now at this point of my life, I'm like, okay, what's next? What's coming?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Eckhart Tolle has a beautiful way of writing. I love the way he writes. I love the way that there is a sign, a symbol where he thinks that it would be okay for you to make a break.
Oh yeah.
I do
Yeah.
this every page. Every page, I'm like, but you can read more than one page.
I was listening to the book, and like when he like makes the break, there would be like a ding, and then it'd be like another ding, and then he would start reading again. So it was really neat because it was kind of like you know, like a
I
bell
didn't
to remind you
know
to like think about
that.
what he just said.
I
It was
didn't
really
know
nice.
that. That was
And
so.
and he narrates the book, so you get to hear it in his voice, and it's really
Oh,
nice.
that's so nice. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm reading it, so I'm like, I'm loving these experiences of reading and listening to books. Like,
Yeah.
and yeah, I didn't know that you had the ding. That's very amazing. So
Mhm.
the thing I like about the book is that it's very structured,
Mhm.
and he talks about the steps that you can make, and also uh, sometimes when you're reading a self-help book, it's too repetitive.
Yeah.
The thing is that Eckhart Tolle, he is repetitive, but he
Mhm.
always adds something.
Yeah.
When you're like, oh my God, I know that already. He's like, but, and he adds something. So I love it. The first step that he comments on the book for you, to be more present is
Mhm.
to, I'm reading here, start listening to the voice in your head as often as you can. Pay
Mhm.
attention to any repetitive thought patterns, those old gramophone records that have been playing in your head perhaps for many years. This is what I mean by watching the thinker.
Mhm.
This is so nice. So that's what you were talking about
Mhm.
before, like to listen. Do you find it easy to listen to the voice in your head?